Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and today we're going to be doing a top cut breakdown for the Dragon Ball Super card game. And you guys might not have noticed, but it's been a hot minute since I've made my last Dragon Ball Super video, and I did want to kind of address that a little bit at the beginning of this one, so and kind of just clear the air and just I know this is kind of like a weird time for the card game. A lot of stuff is up in the air, and I just want to kind of go over it. And kind of like the bottom line is that I still care about this card game. This is really the card game that started a lot of my content, and it just has a really special place in my heart. A lot of the people I still work with right now is because I played this card game, and I'll probably just support it until I just can't anymore. And we're not anywhere close to that. You guys would again probably notice that I haven't been making as much YouTube videos, and strictly the reason for that is the fact that I didn't want to just make videos to make videos, right? Whenever I do have content or anything, it's usually because I have something I want to report on, or a deck that I believe in, or something around those lines, and less of, oh, it's Monday, I have to make a video, I have to get it out. So because of that, there's just been less on that side for me on Dragon Ball. I will 100% admit I'm playing the game less than other card games right now too. So that's kind of helped impact the less videos. And it is kind of a little bit tricky, especially since again I juggle all these other card games. There's a high barrier of entry, even for me who's been playing the game for so long, of like finding the cards, getting the cards together, just playing the game in general, finding people to play. It's just a lot trickier in general for a lot of that content and testing and just everything else for me. And I will say a lot of that doesn't make sense for me right now on that side, which is a bit of a shame, and why those videos have kind of just not happened in the last little bit. But I am still committed to helping the community and everyone as best as I can, because I do really support this game and love it as much as I can. And so the minimum for me is putting out these videos, or not these videos, but these event breakdowns on my website, so you guys have access to lists and you guys can see meta reports and just all that other stuff. I do want to make that accessible for you guys, and I don't have any plans to stop that. I will say it's a pain in my butt to make these web pages, especially like for this whole page that you guys see right here. This took over 2 hours to compile, because all of these lists were pictures, and I had to find the pictures, I had to import them manually. It's a lot of work to do that, like a non-zero amount of work. And if you go through, like, just look at all the BT21 events, think about how many hours that took. It takes a lot of hours. So like, I am putting work into it. I'm not making videos, and the main reason I'm not making videos is because I don't want to just have, again, I don't want to make videos just to make videos, and I'm not confident enough with how ingrained I am with the game to make decisive facts or statements, or say, oh, this deck list is good. I don't want to do an event breakdown if I don't really have anything good to say, or I feel like any like good commentary on it. And I think I'm removed enough from the game that I'm not at that level at this right moment. And so that's kind of why those videos have stopped again. So I didn't want to, again, just make content to say, oh, it's, I have to make, it's Monday, it's Dragon Ball Super Day, I don't have a deck list I want, so let me just brew up something and just put it together. That's usually not how I roll for a lot of my videos. I want to make a video because it's something that I wanted to make, and it's something I believe in, and I just don't believe in personally a lot of my like competitive opinions on Dragon Ball right now, so I didn't want to just throw them out into the ether. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know if you guys support that, or your thoughts on that too, but I love this card game. I'm really looking forward to Fusion World. I know that's a little bit of a hot topic, but I don't have any, like, I'm probably going to look at both and see how both are. Honestly, Fusion World being a faster version of Dragon Ball, which means a little bit easier to juggle with the other games, is very appealing to me personally, but we'll just kind of see how that goes as we see it. But again, I love Dragon Ball Super, everything it's done for me, how it's really impacted my life as a whole, and I'm still continuing to support it, and I hope you guys see that as well. So anyways, going into this breakdown, as it were, this was an event held by No Heroes out in Germany. It was in person with 66 players with a top 8 cut as well. And it was a top 8 cut with best of 3, and they played it out, which is really cool. So it also is the opening weekend for BT22, and that was legal for this event. You'd barely be able to tell by the leaders because only one of them snuck into the top 8 for this one. But it's a bit of a unique set. We're going to go over these decks and everything. I will also put disclaimer, like, these are just a lot of my opinions just how they are, and a lot of them can be wrong, and you guys can call me out in anything, in any sense of it, in the comments, because I did kind of just want to make this video to do the update, but I had the deck list and it's BT22, so just a lot of things. So grain of salt for some of my comments, but if you guys just want the deck list, they are on my website right now. You guys can check them out. But we're going to look at all 8 lists because we have 7 unique leaders. I didn't want to leave one out for that, so we're going to go through all 8 of them. So starting off, we do have our first place list. It is with the BT20 Goku and Vegeta, and now we have 2 different Goku Vegetas, which is neat for that. But yellow's been in a good spot. I've been seeing a lot of yellow top. It's definitely the toolbox color. It's always been with just having like a lot of specific cards for good counters. This one didn't really run a lot of new cards for the thing. It's running a weird mix of 3 copies of Spirit Bomb, which I think most people run 2. You guys can call me out on that, but 3 seems a little bit excessive, but that's what it is. It's also running like the cute World Martial Arts package in the sense of the Martial Meisters and the Announcer Play-by-Play Pro. So, I mean, again, like it's sad I can look at all these older cards better than the newer cards, but that's kind of how it is. And I don't think, all right, is this is a World Martial Arts? No, why is it not World Martial Arts? It totally should be, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know my thing, but that definitely could be a World Martial Arts. But yeah, switch card to rest mode. You can choose any number of your battle cards. Switch to rest mode. If you do, you get put under Spirit Bomb. So if you're running 3, I'm guessing we're actually doing the full chain. I know some people play this deck without it, but that's kind of interesting there. We do also have a new card, and these are the I actually don't know what the community calls it. The Zenkai events, right? The Z events, the Z extra, what do we call them? What are the Z options? See, look at how much of a fake Dragon Ball Super fan I'm playing. I'm naming all the spell cards for other games, but no, whatever. Yeah, Z extra I think is what we're calling these. But when this is placed in your battle area, choose all your battle cards with Son Goku in their names, and those get plus 5k for the turn. So that's a cool blanket effect. And also auto remove this card from the game at the end of the turn. Choose up to one of your opponent's skillless battle cards and KO it at the end of the turn. So you can use some effect to remove some skills and get that removal. But also activate battle, remove this card from the game. Choose up to one of your characters with Son Goku in their name. Gets plus 10k power and critical for the battle. So this is a really neat card. I do want to run it in like the what is it? The structure, the reboot leader, the reboot ape Goku. I think that that could do a lot of good stuff for it. The plus 5k for everything for the turn is neat, and giving critical. There's not a lot of double strike as much, but again, having a setup for critical double strike and just having like something to do with their Z energy, I think is good too. So, but everything else we've just generic stuff. Our secret rare for this was the Piccolo. I do say like we are running 3 copies of the SS3 Son Goku as well, so that could be a big card for it. What's their best card for what? Is it? It's not Goku only, right? With Son Goku and its character name, right? Actually, I don't know if it does work with any Son Goku in their character's name. So that should work for like the the variants of Goku. If that's not correct, let me know, but I think it does. You can also just get like crit double strike with this, I guess, which is I think some early pressure if you really need to, because it's what, a 30k. You can, I guess it's just by playing this and by doing it's a 35k crit. So because you can play it and then auto and then activate battle to remove it. So that is interesting there, but it's cool to have like some more stuff in your Z energy or Z decks. The 7 cards in these Z decks are getting pretty tight now, especially since some decks you do need like the full package and stuff. But anyways, this is the first place list for the Son Goku and Vegeta, and then next up we're looking at the 2 Gohan lists. They're shocking, a little bit similar, but that's kind of just how they are. Most of them are running the the package itself is pretty clean for what you get from it, like the hyperbolic time chamber, and like just it's a little bit linear, and so, which means that some decks, and you can figure out the ways around it and how to go through it. But our second place list was running the Time Patrol Maiden Pan, which I do like this in the deck. It can be really flexible, especially if you're going like the super aggressive build with it too. And you can like just get a really wide board and go for it. We do also have like the tech of the King Vegeta Invasions Command, so being able to play this as a unison, and then also activate main, choose up to 1 card in your opponent's hand or one of their battle cards, ignoring barrier and placing its drop. So the removal for this is actually really insane, because you get to play it. You got a 4 marker unison. It's a 19k, so it's not as good on offense, but is good on defense. but also the minus X is activate main for each marker move. You get to choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So there's a lot of flexibility with this. I don't think like the counterattack really only works for himself, right? But I think that's fine. And there are some decks like who want to find some reasons to run like the Uneasing Awakening Rage as well as the Dormant Potential. I like Bardock in the slot, but I do think it's one more expensive, but King Vegeta does get a lot of kind of good things for that too. So that is there. And then also, and what's its reduce? During your opponent's turn, a Great Ape is in play in your area. So you could use it with the, I don't think this version is running it, but the other one's running the Great Ape Vegeta as well. So yeah, you could play this for 1, and then on your opponent's turn, you could play the, you could do the counterattack and play the other one for 2. That's kind of nice, right? Yeah. I think that's fine. Yeah, because if a field card is in our battle area, which it always will be. All right. Anyways, what else we got? What else we got here? We do have like the new Super Saiyan 3 Broly Tyrant, which I do like this card. Maybe not for this deck. There's a lot of cheese you can do with it. Has this unique and permanent. When this card would be played from your Z deck, instead of paying this card's energy cost and Z energy cost, you may place one non-unique green card from your battle area in your drop and pay green and Z energy cost of 1. So that's interesting, being able to use that effect. There's a lot of cards that do really want that to happen, which is nice. And then also auto for once per turn. If you have 4 or more energy when a battle card in your when a battle card is placed in its drop, this character gains plus 5k power and double strike for the turn. I think that's both turns, right? Yeah, when a battle area card is placed in a drop. Interesting. Okay. And then also activate main once per turn. If you have 3 or more energy and you place one non-unique card from your battle area in your drop, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So I think this is really good for like the Broly chain because it gets 2 pops of your own stuff as well. But there's just a lot you can kind of do with it. But in this deck, it still is just like a double strike plus 5k. It's not tricky to get to 4 energy with this. And that I think is the generic reason. And you technically only play this for 1. So 1 drop 25k double strike and being able, I mean, if you're on the offense, if you're trying to win that turn, getting rid of your own card that you already attacked with just makes sense. So I think it's a good card for green to add some extra pressure. And I think I would say that's it's like one of each of the Jiren, the Broly, and the Frieza makes sense for something like this. That's all I really have to talk about that build. This one's using Cell Xeno as our secret rare, so we do have more of like the 6 drops and like some 4 drops because you can do the math there, because you can have the 8 drop with the Son Goku and SS2 Son Gohan, and then one of your 4 drops. Again, we have a lot of 4 drops in this, and you can get that pretty easily. We're not running the Faded Rivals really. We're kind of running like a half and half of just, and by half I mean strictly only half with the Son Goku Faded Rivals, but we also have this Bulma family support. So this is a rare PR. What is this? If your leader is the green Son Gohan and you discard this card from your hand, choose up to 1 hyperbolic rest, switch it to rest mode, place 1 Vegeta and 1 Trunks from your deck underneath it. So that's neat. That's neat to be able to do that and help you get from that. Sometimes I feel like you didn't find your pieces for it, and you generally, I think what you want to start with this one too. So being able to get that a little bit more consistency, I think can help the deck. And just like what you can do this turn 1, right? Yeah, you can do this turn 1. So that also helps your turn 1 plays. Some people are playing Krillin, but I think this Bulma is probably better in the slot too. So that is this version here. Next up, we have the top 4 Golden Frieza, and Frieza's been around like forever, like ever, and I don't ever see it going away naturally. I would say if anything was to happen to this leader, it'd be more of specifically Bandai doing something to affect it, because it is something that has a lot of removal, has a lot of tech cards, and also the fact that you do get the additional energy with the leader effect, and it's really easy to do so. And just the fact that there's enough cards with Frieza Army that you can naturally play and get some advantage from it. It's just a really solid leader in general right now. But some things to kind of go over. I don't think it's running a lot of the new cards. Nothing kind of new from the Z deck. I mean, this is just like a 15k 1 drop, which is fine for it. But I do like this is a neat little ad, like the Super Saiyan Blue Son Goku versus Golden Frieza Spirit Clash, being able to use this to you play it for 2 and you get some good removal, and you get to recycle itself, which is great. and you just get rid of a Frieza Army or Saiyan card, and you just swap into your Z Energy, which again, this deck just pops out a lot of 1-drops for pretty free. And so like if you get like another one out, like you can, you want to be able to draw one, untap one with the activate main, awaken, draw 2, and then use the activate main again and then get like an extra energy. There's a lot of good stuff, especially since we have cards we can play on our opponent's turn, like Mecha Frieza. Obviously, like if this card's around, I think this deck is going to be viable forever because of that. Like as long as this card's around, I think people are going to keep trying to play this deck, which is really good. And the only thing that's bad about Golden Frieza is that sometimes you don't, you're going to be stuck at like 5 or 6 life and just lose out on your actual advantage. But I think otherwise you're in a really, really good spot, especially since you do draw a lot and then you have a lot of ways to get energy back too. So having a lot of energy and a lot of cards in hand, usually there are a lot of decks in the history of this card game that just take advantage of it and have done very well. So we do have a good amount of unisons, including the Sun Gohan and Higher Dragon. Being able to play a 1-drop for free means that this card, just instead of say, oh, play a 1-drop yellow battle card, it says just untap 1 energy and give me a marker, please, which is very strong for you. And then also, I don't know, it's such a toolbox. Our secret rare is the Golden Cooler Radiant Pride. So ultimate double strike blocker. When this card is played, choose all of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barriers, send them to Owner's Warp. Then your opponent chooses 5 cards in their hand, adds the rest of their Z energy, and this gains barrier. And then if this is, you get to play it for 4, if your opponent has 4 or more energy, you get to play it for 5. And also the main battle, if this is in rest mode, plays up to 2 of your opponent's Z energy in their drop and switch this card to active. And I think there are a lot of decks that are very aggressive with this. The fact that you can just keep going off with this and swing this 3 or 4 times in a turn is very strong. And I think this is a deck that likes to just gain a lot of card advantage and is not worried about playing this Radiant Pride at any time. So I think that's strong. This deck has been good in, for a while. This is, I guess, one of the newer cards for it too, which is, I think it's just we just use it for the dual attack either. But if your opponent has 5 or more cards in rest mode and this card is played against critical and barrier for the turn with dual attack, which is nice. I don't know. That's kind of how it is. But this is the list here. Congratulations for their top 4 finish. And then our bottom 4, our top 8, is that we've got the Son Goku and Vegeta tag team in Hell. And this is the newest deck for this card game. This is the deck that I think a lot of people, including myself, were really interested in. I was and still am a really big fan of Blue Yellow Aegis. And, I think Bojack got banned like 2 years as of almost like to the day as of this video coming out, so a little bit cool to see that. But just being able to, it's like all of my favorite things. It's blue. It's in the fact that it's like the fusion stuff. I do like having the potential to do some of that stuff, which is really cool. The fact that you have like this essentially a rival, but at like effects. And also just the Aegis. This one isn't Aegis, but we do have this one. Look at all these red skills. We got Energy Exhaust, Deflect, Double Strike, Blocker, Aegis, once per turns, Union Fusion, and then also it's for 4. And then if your opponent's through my energy, you draw 2 cards. It's a yellow Son Goku with 5k and a blue Vegeta with 5k. So unfortunately, they've really limited the cards that you can use with this. But when this is played, it can't be removed from your battle area by your opponent's skill until the end of your opponent's turn. And once per turn, when this energy is switched to active mode by a skill, switch this card to active mode, choose one of your opponent's battle cards in unison, switch it to rest mode. It's just like a boss monster for it, which is cool. We are also playing the Kefla in this, which I like this card a lot. I think there's a lot of cool synergies with it, it's essentially just another rival card for you, and really kind of helps you. Like, it's a good boss monster for having like the Aegis effect, being able to choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, place at the bottom deck when played. So 3 is a little bit costly, but not too bad. But also like Frost Deadly Poison, which is a really fun card to play, and a lot of people I think are not like respecting it either. So. And then our big bad boys, Super Saiyan, Gogeta Fusion Reborn, our secret rare Ultimate Fusion. Ultimate, it's a Union Fusion, it's a blocker. It's for only 1 on a Goku and Vegeta. It's Aegis. This can't be removed by your opponent's skill, and you can activate this Aegis skill by sending 1 card from your opponent's hand to the bottom of their deck instead of discarding a card from your hand. So that's it's got like hand control stuff. And when energy is switched to active mode, choose one of your opponent's cards and switch it to and switches. So it's like, honestly, it's like a 5th copy of this card, but just better, which is really nice. and just some cool stuff. So, and like blue and yellow has been like one of my pet projects for this card game for a long time. I think there's a lot of good synergies with untapping your stuff and tapping your opponent's stuff, and I think it's really cool in general. So I could probably go over this deck more, but I'm just going to kind of stop it out here. I think a lot of people are excited for this deck. I don't think it's broken, but I think it's viable, which is great, and I think that's really neat. So here is the list there. And then kind of the last 30, I'd say, are more just some oldies but goodies that maybe I can talk a little bit more in depth for. So we do have like this Mill Janemba, and I will say there's just so many times we have a new format, people are getting really greedy, or people are playing really maybe not really, but just moderately unviable inefficient decks, and just saying, I'm playing the best version of Mill that exists, and that gets me there. It happens often. It happens usually like every other format. The first week it's like, oh, someone's playing Mill Janemba and they top because a lot of people are just trying to figure out these other decks and what's going on with it. So not a lot with it. Blue yellow, which is great. The fact like these are mostly old cards. Our secret rare is the Vermilion Saiyans, because I don't think we really have another one in the slot either. So like it's just a secret rare that we can run, which is how it is, and just kind of like a combination of like the fact that we do have the Z deck, I think helps Janemba a lot. We do get like some ramp with this card, which is kind of nice, and the fact that most of the Z battle cards are 4 costs or less, anyways, the ones that we like, so that is fine for you. Again, Frost Deadly Poison again. We have Deborah because we do crumble a little bit to hand destruction. But look at how like obnoxious all these negates are. It's pretty obnoxious for what it is. So I don't have much to say. I think Janemba Mill is just always like moderately viable at any given time. Especially with, if there are a lot of decks that are just really greedy about drawing cards or self-milling, this deck can be really viable too. So there we go there. Next up, we have the other mill deck. We have Cooler Mill, and I don't know how often you actually try to aim for winning by milling your opponent out, so that's something I wish I had more insight for, but I don't. But Cooler Mill has kind of been like a moderate fan favorite deck. I think they always they release support for this deck like once a year ish. It seems like we'd have like the support of like last year, the Suffocating Tyranny, and I'm pretty sure we're getting some stuff in the anniversary expansion set in the next couple weeks too. So I think we get a Z leader. Correct me if I'm wrong. We get a Z leader for this deck, which is really nice. So having for that and having some plays with it, we almost always play like the blue yellow stuff. Beerus and like Hercule and Boo are always like staples for it. We play a 3-cost Jiren, so we can use the Videl counter, which grants you, those effects are great for you as well. We do have a couple of the newer cards too, which is neat. So we have like the Gamma 1 and 2. When this card is placed to one of your red and army cards, it gets plus 5k. So I guess itself, because there's not really anything else. But once per turn, that's not happening. But also activate battle limit 1 for red if your leader is red and you and your opponent have 3 or more energy. Draw 1, play this card from your hand, choose up to one of your red cards, and it gains plus 10k for the battle. So being able to be just kind of like a 10k, like another super combo, something you can use your energy with too, and you get that, which is kind of nice. So that's flexible for you. It doesn't really help you with like your leader effect, but we also do have like the Cell Max, which is an interesting choice, but I do get why you want to use it. So it's a blocker auto. When this card attacks or activates blocker, switches this card to active mode and gets minus 15k power for the turn at the end of the battle. And so you're 25k, and then you get to restand it, but also you can like attack with it and then restand, and then you should just have a blocker for next turn, which is nice. You get to play it for 1 if your opponent has 3 or more energy. But also when this card is KO'd or removed from a battle area by a skill, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and it gets minus 30k power for the turn. So being able to do that means that you used a battle card skill to decrease your opponent's life, so they get to mill, and then you get the card draw too. So that's helpful for you. And we do also have this new additional Z extra. So when this card is placed in your battle area, choose all your opponent's battle cards. It gets minus 25k power for the turn, which is good, right? Just a solid thing. It is a little bit expensive, but it can be like a board wipe, and it can make your opponent like mill a lot if you give them like a lot of tokens. So that kind of helps you there. But then also activate battle limit 1 if you have 4 or more energy. Your red Cell Max superhero card with an energy cost of 8 or more is attacking. and you remove this card from the game, it gets 15k double strike. So you do get to set up like a double strike with this too. I think it's mostly for the board clear and that kind of effect. Obviously, like the the non-token battle areas for this, but again, like if your opponent is like, I feel like this could trigger a lot of like unexpected mills by doing like the minus 25k for everything. So that's kind of nice. So I would say like generally looking at this without having more insight for it, this one is probably more of actually trying to mill your opponent out and has that as more of a solid plan than just having the advantage of the card draw from your leader. But and also like the fact like Oceanus is in here too as much, I think that's really possible. Also, we do have like the the Gohanks, which is a really cool secret rare. I wish it was like saw more play because it just the card design, the leader, and the character in itself is really cool, but that kind of helps you out there. So that's there. And then lastly, we do have a BT8 Aandroidd 21, and I think this might be like one of the few, and if not only times I get to talk about this deck, and it's not Rohit playing it, but it didn't really see a lot. I am surprised that this was the only Aandroidd 21 to get into the top 8. I know a lot of people are playing either the expert deck one or the one from BT20 pretty much leading up into this event. So I'd be curious to see like what was the next topping, like Aandroidd, like more traditional Aandroidd 21 for it. But this deck is, I mean, I don't know. This Seeker is busted. Every time I see it, I'm like, man, this is a really good card. They really printed this, huh? As searchable it is, as flexible it is, it does everything. It just does so many things for you. But like blue-green androids are just generically in a good spot. There's a lot of room for they're just good cards. They just have a lot of good cards, right? And it's easy to find your cards because they're all searchable because they all have Aandroidd, and there's just unfortunately or fortunately too many like good Aandroidd searchers for you there. And I think that's something for you. But I don't really have much more insights for this one, unfortunately, because I don't play this deck as much. And it's, again, more of just like the Aandroidd package in a different leader. But there we go there. And that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Again, I am really committed to the Dragon Ball Super card game. I'm going to keep making content, whether it's here on YouTube or just on my website. I do want to have that resource for you guys. If you have any comments, any just feedback or anything, I'd love to hear it as always. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one. So again, that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching and for all the support for the last couple years. And I'll catch you all next time.